Hello, hello, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. So, I have a question for you. Are you protecting your rights, your wallet, and do you have the blood covering of Jesus upon all? Are you operating in wisdom? Because while everyone is running over there being the next scandal, the next issue with the president at the time of this recording, Trump, there's some folks that's missing out on some money that's coming by way of class action lawsuits. So you didn't just happen to tune in today. God said, you keep praying and I keep answering, but you're so distracted by everything but. So, do tune in today because I want to walk you through some things that I've done over the years, and I will tell you it was nice to have a little extra money, especially during those times where you needed it. Hello. And some folks are about to get more money. So here's my question. Do you feel like sometimes big companies are playing fast and just doing some things to cause you to lose out on some money, impacting your personal info in such a way where you know that you didn't authorize, but yet they went on and they did and they made money, but you didn't get a check, you see? We question some things. That's why some people want you to be so busy that you don't sit back and start challenging the system. I didn't pay for this. I didn't agree that everything needs to have a price tag. I didn't authorize someone to take this and take that and make money with it. And then they didn't even give me a cut. I have been the one working with all sorts of organizations as a contractor, as a full-time employee. And I saw the ups and downs of business. And then, of course, being a wife, and before a wife, being engaged, as well as dating. And I saw ups and downs with that too. And along my faith journey, I had my highs and my lows. I say all that because I've also seen some injustices that creeped up during these various times in my life when I wasn't paying close attention. And some of you all, you aren't paying close attention, and that expensive automobile that you pay for and all the issues associated with it, you're not paying attention, and the manufacturers don't want you to pay attention. And some of you others, there's other items that you paid for, and those creators don't want you to know about the flaws. And then, of course, when I talk about relationships on this channel, I talk about how the manipulator, the pimp, player, hustler, liar, gambler don't want you to know some things. That's why that one's always in your face and telling you how beautiful and wonderful and sweet you are. I talked to a man a while back and I said, when a man is so touchy-feely and all up in his woman's face and it just appears like she can never do wrong and all of that, and he puts her on a pedestal, what does that mean? This man told me that's nothing but a player. He's keeping her distracted. And the same tricks that some of these folks use out there in the street, they also use them in the most powerful offices in the land. Well, yes, I'm making you feel good by doing some of the things you wanted me to do in the hood, but you're not allowed to see what's going on over here, okay? Let's keep that one busy. because she got too much sense. Let's keep this guy over here busy so that he's not questioning what is it about life and why is it that everything costs, and is there a way to break the matrix? Oh, I'm coming where some people are. You didn't just start thinking about these things. You've been thinking about a lot of things lately. Your eyes are wide open. Somebody back in the day we used to say is pulling your coat. Remember Proverbs 22, verses 22 and 23? Do not exploit the poor because they are poor, and do not crush the needy in court, for the Lord will take up their case. Some of these folks don't know this God that we serve while they're doing what they're doing. Woo, Lord Jesus. And the end doesn't look so good for rich and powerful men. That's what a lot of the truth tellers, a lot of the victims refer to these people as rich and powerful. You see, in today's world, these class action lawsuits that I'm about to get into, I hope you stay until the end of this message. These class action lawsuits, they're like modern day advocates. And what they do is they step up for the needy. They give voice to the voiceless. That's what I've been doing for years on this channel. If you couldn't figure out something, by the time you went through enough audio messages, you figured it out. Then you came up with a plan. And some of you all reported back, sending me an email talking about, I just want to let you know I handled this. God is good. And whatever this is, God took care of you every step of the way, didn't he? Won't he do it? The needy, that's you and me. I know you don't refer to yourself as that. Matter of fact, I don't even like that. But the truth of the matter is, come on, that when God is speaking, he tells you like it is. Slave. Oh, I'm sorry, employee. We're too busy caught up in words and how we say things. Sometimes you got to speak to people direct, blunt, in plain speech for them to realize what they got themselves mixed up in and what they want to come up out of and where the money is. You think that if I'm a big corporation, you really think I'm going to let you know that my product or my service has defects so that you can get money from me? That's why some of you all got to submit claims on class action lawsuits as soon as possible, because I've noticed in 2 large class action lawsuits a while back, CashApp and Apple, there was a little problem trying to submit a claim. By the time everybody figured out, oh my goodness, I can get money for some things. You see, they want the topics to dry up fast. And then if you and we don't break them down with real talk, and we don't have what I learned at the university level, actionable insights, yes, if we don't do SWOT, come up with our share of case studies, they're going to keep on getting away with what they get away with. Lately, I've spent quite a bit of time putting together information for reports and research papers, essays, and the like, to help me understand while getting a grade for what I study. So, we're going to go deep today into these class action lawsuits. Moving away briefly from relationships, family, all things spirituality, lifestyle. Some of you all know the rest. And I want you to put your business hat on. Class action lawsuits and settlements. That's what the focus is. And at the time of this recording, it is the beginning of a new year. And if you ever come across this recording in the future, no matter what the year shows in the YouTube description box, understand this. This is something that you should be doing every year, every month, every day, every week. You spend money. Often you should be finding out what's going on with regard to these various products and services that you buy. So, I don't want to bore anybody. I am going to sprinkle some references so that you can come away from this audio message and do your research too. And if any of you podcasters want to let your listeners know, or any of you writers want to let your readers know, by all means, please do your own deep dive. But I think that this chat is easier as opposed to writing up a whole lot that you might fall asleep on. But I think I'm still going to put up a post on one of my blogs somewhere just to put some people on game. So first of all, why do class actions matter? I have to take the time out to answer this because when I was on the Nextdoor app, some knucklehead decided, and yes, I did say that, decided that he wanted to make a comment about, oh no, I'm not going to do anything with that. That basically is unimportant. I'm just going to summarize. Okay, maybe to you, because you probably already got your money and you don't care about, pennies, dimes, and nickels, I guess. That's on you. But pennies, dimes, and nickels all add up until the penny is no longer. Then it's just the dimes, the nickels, and the quarters, and the dollar, until that is no more. And then it is whatever the system, the monetary system, comes up with on any given day. And that's when it's going to get dangerous real quick, if they totally obliterate the system altogether, because I can see some people freaking out about that. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. I want you to imagine that you're opening up your mail, okay? And you see that you're owed money from a company that unfortunately misled you, okay? Bamboozled you. So, without even lifting up your finger, beyond filing a claim, right? You say, wait a minute. Let me find out what else is going on. Okay? And you find out that now there's about 2, 3, 4 other companies. See what I'm doing here? And now you're stacking bread. Back in 2025, I'm telling you, I'm giving somebody some power here. There were some class action settlements. They hit record highs. I can understand why there were so many other distractions out there. These class action settlements total, get this, $40 billion with a B. $40 billion for the 4th year running. So people have been getting money for 4 years because they did their due diligence on class action lawsuits. And I got that information over there at DwayneMorris.com. Now, this isn't any type of legal jargon that I'm speaking to you about. I'm just talking about justice, Okay? Justice. I'm also going to talk about privacy because, hey, we got digital lives. It's not just about what happens offline. It's also what happens online too. And then there's also some health claims. And there's some people that didn't feel like companies were being fair with them. I'm studying right now at the time of this recording, leadership. All things related to leadership. And one of the things that is drilled into our minds, us students, is ethical practices. How these leaders lead and the types of things that they do, good, bad, and otherwise, and also those who had to face consequences as well. The data breaches. This is common. This is something that in 2026, I want you to look out for. Data breaches. Some of you all may already at the time of this recording qualify for cash or credit monitoring without any proof. City of Hope data breach. This was a healthcare giant, and they ended up, and I don't even know why I'm saying past tense, but anyway, they settled for up to $8.5 million after exposing sensitive information. What they exposed was social security numbers, and these medical records had dated back to September 2023. California residents could get an extra $250 bump. Now, in order to do a little more exploring about this, you go to the City of Hope databreachsettlement.com. The claims are supposed to be open through early 2026. So let's sit back for a moment and let's think, okay? Because I know some of you all, you brainstorm while you're listening to audio messages like, well, what else? What else is out there? I know I'm signed up with this company and that company. I pay these people each month. Let me type in this business name and see if there's a class action lawsuit. Or my information is over at this hospital and my information is over at this, and you fill in a blank, and let me see if there is some issues going on, legalities, if you will, with some of these companies that I'm affiliated with. And you have every right to do it. Because data, that's our identity. As my mother used to say back in the day, your name is all you got. At the end of the day, Proverbs 4:23 reminds us of guarding our hearts. So we guard our hearts and we guard our data. And these breaches that they speak of, for some people, it's been robbing their peace for years. First it was this data breach, now it's that data breach. Some people, they're just making money just off of data breaches alone. I'm telling you. There is an insurance company. Once again, I'm giving you a bit of inspiration. You might want to check on some of these insurance companies. Car insurance, health insurance, life insurance, home insurance, rental insurance. Find out what's going on with them. Sequoia Benefits and Insurance. $8.7 million suit. Cost them a lot of bread because of a breach. Personal and health data was leaked. Payouts in these situations, they always vary, but it doesn't matter. That's part of how people send a message to these companies that we're not going to sit idly by while you go and sell our information or don't have the proper protocols in place, security protocols to guard our information. The deadline for this one is March 11th, 2026. You can go over to topclassactions.com. Got another one for you. New Motion data breach. 4 million settlement for mobility aid users. So, someone in the family who you know is a mobility aid user. Who else has compromised data? The reimbursements for those losses, the deadline is March 18th, 2026. You can also check topclassactions.com for that as well. It's interesting how Minnesota is in the news. I'm going to tell you something about Minnesota right now that has nothing to do with the big news stories. This one is about a settlement for $2.2 million over a breach that affected Minnesotans' medical data. You didn't see that on the front page news, did you? The claims are due by March 2nd, 2026. The payouts are up to $500 prorated. Might not seem like a lot of money to some individuals, but hey, there are those in Minnesota that could use that money. And I found that information over there at hipaajournal.com. There are those right now who got a notice a long time ago about Cerebral Incorporated. And this was a settlement for California users whose personal info was shared with Facebook via tracking pixels. And that's something that you might want to look into. Or there are other companies out there that they've got some tracking that is taking advantage of people on their platforms. This is a good time to start paying closer attention to those terms and conditions that update year after year. Anyway, if you want to learn more about that one, you can go to cerebralpixelsettlement.com. You can also check for some of the latest class action settlements over at classaction.org. And I don't get any type of money for sending you off to these different, at least from the companies, that have all of this good information for recommending them. My money, every now and again, comes when I submit a claim for a class action lawsuit. Now, there's been some deceptive practices as always, false ads, companies misleading us, telling us that they can give us this and give us that. Rather than sit there complaining after a holiday season, talking about this doesn't do all that it says it's supposed to do. And then you just throw it out because you're angry. Of course, that's what they want you to do. You call the 1-800 number on the back of that bottle. You find out who the manufacturer is. You take items back to the store. You check and see if there's a class action lawsuit. And if it really caused some problems where you had to go to the doctor, you need to contact an attorney. So, I'm not in support of any shady marketing practices. And Balance of Nature, they learn the hard way. This company had these false health claims on supplements. They ended up having a suit worth $9.95 million. Okay? So if you purchase any of their products, once again, that's Balance of Nature, You can be able to snag some cash or get some credits. It's up to you. The deadline is March 11th, 2026. Me, I value authentic leadership. This hits home. Truth is supposed to be evident in business. Businesses are supposed to be building our trust. Does that sound like this company built our trust? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm telling you, I'm not playing. There's too many people that are running everywhere but checking these companies. I have gone in person to major department stores like Walmart, like Target. Excuse me, I don't appreciate the customer service, or I did not like how when I showed up, this, that, and the other was supposed to be there because someone said this or someone said that, and it wasn't. Next thing you know, oh, let me help you out. I'm sorry. Come on. Oh, it's okay. It's all right. Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. You know that got a lot of people broke, busted, and disgusted, right? That nonchalant, that laziness, that I don't feel like getting up. I don't feel like going to the car. I don't want to make a big deal about. That's what they're counting on. Once again, if you are in big business, of course, we don't want you to show up. You see? You consumers. That's the way your mindset is going to be. Because you want to protect. That is, if you're greedy. If you have no moral compass. But if you are not greedy and you do have a moral compass, hey, the small business owner says, no worries, let me make wrongs right. What can I do for you? Or they'll give you options because they don't want you to, walk away with their store. So they'll say, well, I tell you what, I can get you another one of those, or I can give you your money back, or I can recommend an alternative for a discount. Okay, now we're talking. Lazy boy, yes. Deceptive discounts, also known as Joybird. 7.15 million. 715 million for fake sales pricing. And so some people got up to some people will, I should say, get up to $115 cash or store credit in February. Matter of fact, February 13th, 2026. Also, this is on topclassactions.com. And on that site, you'll also see keto diet pill overcharging. You'll see that it's a multi-pack. But that one, unfortunately, already passed. That was January 2nd, 2026. And that settlement was $12.5 million against global e-trading for price inflation. All right. So silly thread count. You can check out Glitch Deals on X. If you don't have proof, there's a $40 max payout from a $750,000 settlement for misleading betting labels. Okay? So those claims are pretty easy. Check out X for that. Get Glitch. Matter of fact, let me spell it out. At Glitch, GLITCH, ED Deals. Some of you all, you like your coffee. Well, the Canadians are cashing in on the Keurig K-Cup. A $1.85 million settlement for pod issues. Those expensive coffee machines when they first came out, and the gift that keeps giving the manufacturers every time you purchase another K-Cup. I saw a lot of those over at the Goodwill. I said, yeah, people got tired of paying those expensive prices. All right. So, there has to be some speaking truthfully to the neighbor concerning these products and services if you're going into business. And the problem is that as companies grow, they stop speaking truthfully. And when they stop speaking truthfully and we find out about a lie, that's when we've got to get the law involved. Big tech. I'm not going to close this message without talking about big tech. So thank you for continuing to listen, or this is a good time to pause, but do come back. Big tech and antitrust. You do know that for a long time, everyone has been wanting some giants to be held accountable, from those who use our material to train AI, to privacy issues, data selling. So I got some for you. Google Play Store, antitrust, massive, 630 million for overcharging on apps and in-app buys, Android users. Go ahead on and take a look at that. U.S. users since 2016, they could get at least $2 in claims or more. It's open until February 19th, 2026. YouTube privacy for kids. There's a 30 million settlement going on for tracking children under 13 without consent. And parents, they have until January 21, 2026 to get in on that one. And that is YouTubePrivacySettlement.com. You know you're supposed to protect the vulnerable, but big business could care less about that. But the believer knows you don't do that. Put kids out there like that. Remember Plaid? Some of you all, if you don't know, sometimes this shows up when you're looking to verify your bank data. So there's these options. And basically, you can have your bank data verified with a company. Maybe it's a loan that you're trying to go after or what have you. Well, they were selling data. 58 million for sharing bank data without permission. Fintech woes continue. You want to learn more about that on X? Go to @TBirdWorldMedia, or just simply do a search. This information is on various sites. All right, we're getting into health and finance. The claims that were denied to savings scams. Anthem is pretty popular, isn't it? I hope your ears are perked. Anthem had denied claims. The problem was they wrongly denied claims on mental health and substance abuse treatments. So they're paying $12.75 million for that. If you or someone else was denied, this is definitely something you want to jump on. This goes all the way back to 2017. The claim reimbursements, January 20th, 2026. That's the deadline. You can go to consumer-action.org. And I'll tell you that this one's close to my heart. Mental health matters, and so does fair access. All right. Capital One, 360 savings. And I know there's plenty of people that are with Capital One because you don't have to pay all those fees like other banks. But let me tell you, their final approval hearing is April 20th, 2026. And here's what the problem is. $425 million, potentially $530 million. And what they did was they misled savers on interest rates. That's the short version. Okay. New Yorkers alone, they're going to be getting 34 million. So you can find out more about that litigation over there at Capital One 360 Savings Account Litigation.com. So there are people around the web that are praising this move. So for some of you all, I know, I trusted that bank. I know. All right. Over at justice.gov, Kaiser's false claims, the whistleblowers are going to get 95 million. It wasn't a class action, but $556 million government settlement for invalid Medicare codes. And then, Monsanto. Some of you all are familiar with Monsanto. Well, you know that Roundup, the weed killer? Well, there's 4,500 pending cases that are still going on. More trials ahead. It's already at 11 billion. And you can do research on that. Lawsuit-information-center.com. I'm trying to make these quick, sweet, to the point. I hope that you're gathering your data for these. Somebody in the family, send a text message. Hey, just want to let you know there's some money sitting out there with your name on it. All right. So, Papaya Gaming. There is some deposits from 2019 to 2024, and it varies by state. So if you want to learn more about that, go to classaction.org, but the deadline is January 30th, 2026. The pet food by Mid-America, turns out that there's some contaminated products. The payouts for it, for the vet bills, because some pets got sick off of that, there's a deadline for that. That's February 5th, 2026. And this next one is going to ruffle some of you all's feathers, especially if you gave information over to 23andMe, because there was a data breach. And there's up to $10,000 for identity theft victims. The deadline for that is February 17th, 2026. And mind you now, even though at the time of this recording I'm listing 2026, what it does is it gives you inspiration, though, to look up other companies, right? Go to these same websites if they're still if they still exist, to find out, okay, at the time of this recording, this is what she's told me, but there may be something that I need to look up now. Exactly. Like the beef prices. There's always something going on with these beef prices. So I suggest that you snap pictures when you're picking up beef at the store and make sure that it rings up right. But there's been some talk about 87.5 million going out to buyers due to beef price fixing from 2014 to 2019. And you might want to find out what stores, what manufacturers, all of that, what the buzz is. And then there is lawsuits going on, and some of this information is just breaking. Earning and Money Lion, and I know some of the YouTubers over the years was always singing praises about Earning and Money Lion. Well, lawsuits over hidden fees and loans disguised as advances. So that also is something you want to look into, and that information showed up on X at T-Bird World Media. So lots of conversation is going on. Overcharges, easy money, all of that. I know that was a lot, but you got quite a bit of inspiration. And these aren't just payouts, but what these lawsuits remind us of is that these businesses need to have integrity, okay? And when you speak up, they're going to shut up about all of their, oh, well, this will help you, and no, now you got to roll that back. Otherwise, you're going to get hit with a lawsuit. You see, it forces them to have to be transparent. And then some of them, once they're not in the limelight anymore, they go back to their old ways. So, as leaders and consumers, we've got to be the ones that choose wisdom over all of these shortcut practices. You see, if you're just starting in business, you've got to be mindful that someone can say something or do something as a result of poor service, poor products. So, go ahead on and take that time to visit topclassactions.com, consumer-action.org, X, put the name of the businesses that you question into the search engine. Start noting what you're finding. Talk to an attorney in your area. Find out what the people are saying over on Reddit and Trustpilot and Glassdoor, especially with some of these companies that you or someone else might be an employee of. I'm surprised at the number of people who work for organizations that don't know that their companies are in litigation. So anyway, if you know of some businesses that are currently being sued, could you please put those company names in the comment section? Okay? If you have claimed on a lawsuit before, mention that. Talk about your experience, so that'll build some people's confidence. Okay? Or drop a comment about some of the things that you've noticed in terms of media distraction, manipulation, to kind of, deter people from paying close attention. I know that Apple is paying out, but the deadline passed back in July of 2025. And some people, they're getting their money this month, January 2026. So anyway, I want some of you all, as always, to stay blessed, all right? Justice is prevailing. I'm telling you right now, but you can't do it by just sitting on the couch and saying, woe is me. All right. Well, thank you as always for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen. You've been listening to YouTube, NM Enterprise 7. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment, share. Blessings to you.